Let's just take a look at where India stands right now when it comes to the spread of the coronavirus. The RBI governor testing positive on a day when we're seeing 50,000 new cases being reported in the last 24 hours. That's actually good news because national figures are showing a downward trend. Unfortunately, though, Delhi continues to show an upward spike in COVID cases of 4,000 fresh cases being reported in a day. And there seems to be a double whammy really for the national capital. In fact, I should say it's really a triple whammy because you have the problem of the air quality of the national capital region, that is the cities of Delhi, Gurugram and Noida, also at the same time worsening to a very poor category with an AQI of 353. Now, the AQI is predicted to continue to remain in this very poor category for the next few days as well. Government agencies say they are taking several steps to tackle air pollution in the national capital region. They say there are 50 on-field inspection teams who've been set up by the Pollution Control Board to look at violations. The Supreme Court, remember, has appointed a one-man committee led by retired Justice Madan B. Lokur. They are working with neighboring states to control stubble burning. Experts are warning that cases of COVID may rise as pollution levels worsen. But with a gradual rise in pollution levels over the last few days in the NCR, Gurugram residents are now demanding that there be a ban on open burning of waste, and this ban on open burning of waste is there, but it needs to be strictly enforced, is what the residents of Gurugram are pointing out, to prevent the situation from getting worse, especially in the view of the pandemic. Let's go across to some of these residents. Ruchika Sethi Thakkar will join us. She's the founder member of Citizens for Clean Air. Dharamveer Singh, also social activist and member of this group. Mr. Shakti Singh, regional officer of the RO of the Pollution Control Board of Gurugram South, joins us. Thank you, Mr. Singh, for your time. And Dr. Ganesh S. Javalikar is the principal consultant at the Max Super Specialty Hospital in Saket and Gurugram. So, Ruchika Sethi Thakkar, first to you. The role of the citizen action, citizenry, advocacy, this is also very important. In your group now seems to be, I see, using Twitter to post images of places where waste is being burnt, tagging the concerned authorities. Is it working?
It definitely is working, because we have a very good, quick response action team in place. And we recognize that the Pollution Board is taking this cognizance of the rampant burning of waste extremely seriously. But what is really needed is that we need many more citizens to be active. So our group, which is Citizens for Clean Air, we have a wide number of members and who are playing the citizen vigilante role. And the way we do it is that we are noting the waste being burnt by all categories of waste generators, so be it construction sites, or be it, the street vendors, or it is open scrap markets or the dumping points. So they get noted and we upload it on the CPCB Twitter handle. We also report it to the local Grab team over here. And we are able to elicit the action and a very quick response from the fire brigade to douse the fire and also curb the smoke. And, it's something that we now are looking forward to, that apart from these repeated violations and notings, we are also able to look at strengthening of a system of waste management in the city so that it's no longer such a rampant noting.
Right. So, well, then, I'm curious then what happens when you go up to these persons, when you have your, perhaps what is vigilantes who are monitoring and find someone who's burning waste. When you go up to them, what happens? What do they say in their defense? Right. So let me ask Dharamveer Singh, actually, who's a colleague who works with you, a social activist. Dharamveer Singh, are challans and FIRs the solution? Because this waste burning is not sporadic, it's a rampant practice. So when you try and stop somebody, what do they say in response?
Actually, ma'am, the basic reason is behind that is their education level. They are not educated enough to say that this is harmful, and basically ignorance of the administration too. Because if something is happening repeatedly, that means something is missing out.
But
There
sir,
should
is
be
it only
some
a lack of
proper
information, education
thing.
that it is harmful for you? Is there an alternative? Are there waste management mechanisms? Is it that they are not using an opportunity the government is providing them to dispose of waste properly and burning it, or is it that they are burning and there is no other option?
In some cases, they have the option, but still they are burning. And in some cases, they don't have option.
Okay.
Like for local juggies and all these things when they are, so they don't have options. But for some industries, they can do, but still they are not doing it.
Taking these shortcuts. All right, Dr. Ganesh Jawalikar, given the pandemic, we now need to protect our lungs much more than usual because the virus targets the respiratory system?
Yes, I mean, certainly one of the predominant damage that is caused by the virus is to the lungs, and it does cause a severe pneumonia. And anybody who has any underlying problems will have a higher risk of having complications or serious sequelae of the viral infection. But beyond the viral infection, I think the air pollution is like a chronic situation. Okay, the virus makes news because it is an acute thing. It has happened suddenly. It has affected the globe. But the danger of the chronic condition, just if I have to give an example, a heart attack becomes a panic situation for the patient or family.
Yeah.
But the years of uncontrolled hypertension or uncontrolled blood sugars are often ignored. So air pollution is something similar to that. So a chronic problem which probably doesn't get as much attention as it deserves. And even amongst air pollution, I think the open burning of mixed waste is a significantly ignored area, because often there is emphasis on burning of crops and other things, but the waste burning, which seems to be, because I myself noticed 4 fires within a span of 6 to 8 hours. So I'm sure that this is a rampant thing happening.
Oh, it's a rampant thing happening. Let's ask Mr. Singh, Mr. Shakti Singh, the regional officer of the Pollution Control Board of Gurugram South. Mr. Singh, the Delhi High Court on Thursday already said that the Supreme Court is doing its part to deal with the stubble burning in neighbouring states of Punjab and Haryana. But it says that the centre and state governments also have to do their bit to tackle pollution. It is not only a problem of stubble burning. Your response, what are the authorities doing? What is the Pollution Control Board doing? Is it enough? Mr. Shakti Singh? Mr. Shakti Singh? Sir, Mr. Singh, can you hear me?
Vikram?
All right, we seem to have lost the line there with Mr. Singh. Let me try and get him back on. So, Ruchika, then let me ask you, we've come to realize that the practice of garbage burning, is it actually a way to manage waste? Is that why some of it is being burned?
So it's a very good question. In fact, it's been now 6 years as active citizens we've been tracking this, and all categories of waste generators are absolutely oblivious to the fact on scientific waste management principles. Government of India has the MOEF rules as solid waste management rules 2016. Many states are yet to be implementing it in its proper entirety. Waste burning is considered a historical practice, and it could be as small a fire or as big a fire of a dump site, or it could be as small as somebody has just seen a broomed leaf litter and set it to fire. It could be next to a rickshaw ready, it could be next to a street vendor. In his ignorance, your question earlier was like, is he really ignorant? He is, or she is. They do think that by burning it, they would be clearing it up. Number two, they think they'll be cleaning up the air actually. They'll be killing the mosquitoes. So that is why we have been insisting that treat waste burning as a disease to be tackled the way Corona was. It just took 15 days for the government of India to educate everybody on the risk to your lungs. So waste burning as a practice needs to be educated, so that the education needs to be as intensive as the Corona education, and treated and they have been very successful, be it Corona in terms of the outreach and the awareness. It was just 15 days, everybody in India knew about it. And what are the precautions to be taken? So the precautions to be taken is the scientific waste management, giving your waste, and definitely something that you and I, we need also as citizens to do, which is reduce, reduce, reduce. So what gets reduced obviously doesn't get either open burnt or burnt in incinerators or waste to energy plants. So I feel that people are not aware, because it was a historical practice to set it to fire. We think, you set something too light, it's going to be cleaning up that area, the
so
way we associate it with Havans.
Also to just educate people that
Yes,
in today's world, we can no longer burn waste as perhaps we did many decades ago when consumption levels were much lower than they are today.